Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Omniverse of Nick, and Part 9 to the Mcqueen Walking Dead tale. I'm your host, Nick, and before we get into today's episode, be sure, as always, to smash that like button, subscribe to the Omniverse of Nick channel, and comment your favorite parts, or future request for suggestions, be it what if or general discussion. With all that out of the way, once you guys get that done, we shall get into this next part. But it's going to be a shorter one, just to tie in the loose ends of what's been happening while Shane and Michonne have been on their own team, and what's been going on at the farm, and something interesting to be happening at the end of this episode. It will tie in nicely. We get to Season 3's territory with the farm people. Lori, pregnancy evolves, and Maggie, Herschel, and Carol are all there, no conflict, and Judith is safely born, and Lori is actually around for it. It's kind of a running theme at this point. I even surprise myself that I'm writing in Lori longer term to these stories, but makes it better since she is better character in pretty much all those. And Rick and Herschel put their mind on the most important thing of all besides managing the farm, Mcqueen. Now this is where the most attention to detail is going to be taking place. First, his engine, the inside of it, and the workings of it. That is worked on heavily by Jim and Merle. Next, his tires. That is left to Daryl to work on. And next, and pretty much last, is being able to put under Mcqueen like Jenner did, since they would probably know how to do it by this point, and Mcqueen be able to withstand pain from being basically picked and prodded so many times. And now, it's for the reason of looking into his full-on mechanics and in him, basically. And Dale and Glenn, and anyone else who would have to, would pay attention to that part. And they're actually able to make a top machine gun turret for Mcqueen, as well as move the missile launcher that he already had in him from the top left side down to his complete left side, just for easier management with it, really, and just because you don't want it to get destroyed if it's in the wrong place. And you never know in this world that they're living in now. Rick and Carl look at Mcqueen, who could not be happier. He looks like an entirely new car. And he's honestly very, very, very happy. And Rick, he's very happy to see his friend this happy and different. And Lightning McQueen goes down, or looks up, rather, and talks to Rick and says he can't thank him enough for all he's done. The way he saved him, the way that he never thought it was possible he would meet one of their kind, and honestly, he's changed him. From the moment he was saved, he didn't know whether to trust him or not, but he took him in. He's taken him this far, and look what he's done now. They're literally on top of things. And if him or someone like him were in his world, he could have won his race, but that ultimately would have meant that none of this would have happened. There's something to think about right there. And Mcqueen just can't express enough how thankful he is to have Rick Grimes as a friend. He really deserves it. And Rick, he just can't stop smiling and says that he really owes Mcqueen, because if it weren't for him, he doesn't know if he really would find his family or what would have happened. Honestly, Mcqueen brought meaning to him after he got out of that hospital. Sure, he had Morgan, but who knows? They still haven't even seen what has ended up with him. So honestly, Mcqueen not only has had his life changed, but they've both changed each other for the best. Look what's happened. They're at the farm still and thriving. And he feels that if they keep up this route, not only will their friendship and the family they've got here grow, but they can save this world and get back to his like he's been promising. And it honestly is a great goal to strive for, and they keep on doing it. But Dale, soon enough, he says they might want to look out on the farm. And once they do, the horde that came at the end of season 2 has finally arrived. Because there was nothing to draw them at that point. So now they finally are here. Rick, he knows that everyone here is more than likely enough to take them down, especially with Mcqueen. But he warns them all to be at the top of their game and asks them all if they're ready for this. Herschel, he ain't gonna give up the farm. And Mcqueen, he is looking forward to testing his new parts and weaponry and showing Rick and everybody else here what good having him here and being on their team is really about. So everyone at the farm positions themselves right at the center front of it when the horde makes its way straight towards them. And with this, Rick draws his revolver and yells for everyone to rain fire, which they do. And Lightning McQueen, he initiates the most fire with his machine gun turret and missiles if it were absolutely necessary. Because if it weren't obvious with the loadout of the group, the loadout of McQueen, and the state of everything that's happened, they win. And that's a first. Because in my Madison story, I made it to where they looked like they were standing a chance, but they just couldn't stay long enough. But here, they actually managed to get through. I mean, they have McQueen, for Christ's sake, so I can't not make them get through this. So this means that for the first time in any of my stories, the group is going to stay at the farm. And this is going to be the thing for a while now. They're going to be staying here for quite a significant minute. Now, it might not seem like much in episode time, but story-wise, it's going to be a minute. And Herschel, he is very surprised, proud, and honestly mind-blown that his farm is still here. McQueen, everybody, they've saved his farm and his family. And he's the one who's thanking McQueen and Rick especially, and everyone. But mainly Rick and McQueen, because if it weren't for them, Herschel getting to see a talking sentient car, his farm would have probably been destroyed. And McQueen, he pulls out a titular ka-chow to show that they're in this as a family, and he is going to definitely show how influential he is as not only a part of the family that he is now a part of, but what this farm is eventually and the group is going to grow into. Speaking of, that's where we're ultimately going to leave this kind of group for now. Again, after a one-episode pull-up, pulling the farm into a basically armored and armed-up farm. It's going to be big for what they're doing. Meanwhile, at a prison, the prison that we all know and love, the 5 prisoners, led by Tomas, get encountered by Tyrese and his group. Now, with the prison not fully taken care of because of no Rick, a later point in the story in which the prisoners and Tyrese's group are being brought in, and the fact that this also puts the governor's story at a weird angle, and the claimers already being dealt with, Shane Michonne off God knows where, and Morgan seemingly dead. What is the story going to turn up in terms of all of these changes? Will it be good, or could it make things infinitely worse? But that's where we're going to leave things for now. What do you guys think will happen next? How did you enjoy this episode, and what is your favorite part of the story so far? With all that out of the way, do not forget, as always, to smash the like button, subscribe to the Omniverse of Nick's channel, and comment your favorite parts, or request your own ideas, be it what if or general discussion, in the comments section below. with all that out of the way, guys, I hope that you guys are enjoying this story, because there's a lot more big moments and surprises and definitely awesome moments to come in this story.